Welcome to Highways and Hometowns, the podcast that takes you on a high-speed journey through resilient infrastructure, economic growth, and celebrates the beating heart of Texas, as well as hometowns throughout America. Join us as we dive into the triumphs and challenges of communities, adapting and innovating amidst the twists and turns that go into the extraordinary achievements that shape our world. Get ready to build knowledge, lay some concrete foundations of success, and ride the waves of progress on one of the most engaging engineering podcasts in the Lone Star State. This is Highways and Hometowns.
I'm Steve Noel Fortune, and we got the concrete cowboy himself, Patrick Charlton. Patrick, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good,
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
I know.
We had some crazy weather this winter. Now it's starting to warm up. Got 70-degree weather. I mean, it's nice.
It is nice. We've had a good time.
Yep. Where are we at? Tell everybody where
You
we
know
are
what?
right now.
We are live from Frisco, Texas at the American Concrete Pipe Association's Pipe School. If you're not familiar with the American Concrete Pipe Association or Pipe School, let's give you a little rundown. 1907, the American Concrete Pipe Association was conceived. 1914, they started naming it the American Concrete Pipe Association, making it over 100 old.
Wow.
And here's what's even better. It is the longest tenured drainage organization in the country.
That's amazing.
So we're here. We're excited to be here. Pipe School celebrates the people, products, engineering that support all of our industry. And this is one heck of an event.
It is. And you know, for those who don't know, Pipe School is a excellent education forum to learn not just about pipes, but also about infrastructure. It's not just all the concrete pipe companies out here. We have a tremendous turnout from DOTs around the U.S. Some of the DOTs, which include, Arizona DOT, we have Minnesota DOT, we have Wisconsin DOT, and we have a transportation track where they do presentations relevant to their states. And so if you've never been, I highly recommend coming. Get PDHs. There's plant tours. I can't say enough about it. It's come a long way. When my first event like this that I went to was back in 2002. I'm dating myself a little bit, but that's a conversation for later. And back then it wasn't really much DOT attendance. And now here we are in 2024. The DOT turnout is phenomenal. And we couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, look, this is a celebration of the partnership, right?
Yep, exactly.
Our people, our manufacturing processes, the DOTs, consulting engineers have a tremendous amount of consulting engineers in attendance as well.
Exactly.
Another thing that we have is quality and production school. A lot of people don't know that portion of Pipe School,
right.
that our member companies, the producer members, bring their folks here to learn everything there is about our product, our design, and our manufacturing processes. It really culminates in one heck of an event.
Yep. So one thing I'll say, so we're doing a live stream here, so if anybody's watching at work in your offices, on LinkedIn, if you want to, feel free to drop in a question. We'll try to get to it and answer it. But without further ado, I say we go to our first guest coming right off their presentation. They just spoke on the transportation track. We have Assistant State Engineer for Bridge Preservation from the Arizona DOT, Amjad Alzubi. And then we have our technical resource specialist from Arizona for Rinker Materials, Adrianna Lash. Y'all need some applause or something. There we go. Now it's alive. Now we're making it. How y'all doing?
Hello.
We are good. Thank you for having us.
That's good. You guys just did a presentation on the transportation forum here at Pipe School, correct?
Correct.
And you guys spoke on pretty much the collaboration on how you guys work together on. I believe there's a new box culvert spec in the Arizona DOT. You guys want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. With the help of Rinker Materials and their staff, we were able to get a precast standards drawing set and special provisions to become part of ADOT's series of standard drawings that would eliminate the need to design any culverts by anybody. It's already set, and all you got to do is use the standard drawing and build it.
Very good. So I take it before it was kind of done on more of a case-by-case basis where you had to do a special design and more hurdles to jump through, right?
Correct. There was a lot of hurdles. You'd had to have it designed, stamped, sealed by Arizona PE,
right,
which not everybody has on their staff.
Right.
And then you would have to have it reviewed by ADOT staff. Depending on the workload, that might take weeks, sometimes months.
Okay.
So it wasn't helpful or cost-saving to go through that process at the time.
Got it. So I'm sure there's other DOTs out there. If you're going through a similar process where if you don't have a box culvert standard and you're doing these case by case, to save a lot of time and hassle, if you will, having a box culvert standard in your plans, it helps the process go by a lot faster. And go
Here
ahead.
in Texas, one of the things that we have is we have design specifications for different sizes. So there's an actual standardized chart that our producers can utilize that the DOT can partner with, that they try to keep their engineering to those standard sizes so that there's always there's no supply chain issues, right?
Correct.
They can get it at a timely manner. Texas has gone through multiple iterations of that box culvert standard as well. So I'm excited to see Arizona doing a similar thing. You're starting the process. Talk to me a little bit about the background of box culverts. What moved you in this direction, and what was the reason for it?
First, I used the TxDOT standard drawings.
There we go.
They were a good reference. We have a lot of washes in Arizona, and when they flood, people cannot get to the other side, or they get stuck. So we wanted to have a faster way to ease the suffering of the public when there's construction. And one way to do that is by having precast culverts. Precast pipe has been used for a long time, but flooding events have changed. They're bigger, and pipes might not work. In that case, you want to use a precast culvert where you can close the road for a couple of days, maybe a weekend, lay down your foundation, put the culverts, put the fill, and open the road, and then you can work at the ends and let the public just go do its thing. So
For those of you at home that are listening, it does rain in Arizona. We just heard it firsthand. It does rain in Arizona. Adrianna, tell us a little bit about your partnership with the DOT. Talk to us about how Rinker and other manufacturers have worked with the DOT to kind of get this over the finish line.
Right. Yeah. This was a big task for us to get done. We've been manufacturing precast box culverts in Arizona since the 1990s, so it's been a long time coming. And so it is a lot of persistence, following up and making sure that it was top of mind, and answering all the questions that the DOT and industry had on the box culverts.
Good deal.
And you bring up a good point about the timeline of the projects. I see a lot sometimes, cast in place projects, especially when they have to go under a roadway. The time it takes to close down that roadway and reopen it can take days and really impact traffic. To whereas, like you said, with something like a precast box culvert, which is used as a kind of a bridge replacement, if you will, you can set one in, then open one lane, and then set the other one and open the other lane. Just that timeline to save the hassle of the community of traffic is priceless.
it is, and the way that material costs have gone up in the last couple of years with inflation and the cost of labor, our budgets have not gone up. They've been the same
Right.
for the last 5 years.
Right.
And based on what I saw, for the next 4 years, what we are getting is going to be the same. So we have to use that money wisely, and one way to do that is reduce the cost of traffic setup.
Right.
And closures. So that's why I'm excited to use precast culvert, because it's one of those ABC methods that
Exactly.
we keep talking about, and the public loves it.
Right.
And for Arizona DOT, it would be a great opportunity to have drones come in and invite the public and show them what it's like to open the road in one weekend.
Yep.
And disrupt nobody's work schedule. Come home on Friday,
Yep.
and then go back to work on Monday and nothing happened.
Right.
So that's the goal.
Right, because last week the thing we want is angered communities calling their local news stations, and then you look on the news. This road's been closed down for so long. We tried to reach out to DOT officials, but so this helps alleviate a lot of headache. So the first time you actually saw a box culvert plant was when you came out to, I guess, one of the box culvert facilities in Las Vegas. Was that the first time you saw the actual production?
That was the first time.
So what was when you actually saw the boxes and mega boxes and the product? What was your impression? What did you think about it?
My jaw dropped.
Your jaw,
It
yeah.
was so impressive. The size of these boxes when we're standing inside of them and you can't even touch the top, and just to see the production and how it goes so fast.
Yep.
And the technology that comes in,
Right.
the forms.
Right.
I mean, it is really special.
Right.
And I wish everybody would get a chance to take a plant tour.
Absolutely.
Which they probably will.
Absolutely. Right.
And see it firsthand, because it will open your mind to
Right.
technologies you didn't think existed.
Absolutely. A lot of engineering goes behind that. So the actual structures, you see them being engineered. They're not like an off-the-shelf drainage product that's just kind of grabbed and thrown in. A lot of precise engineering goes into it. So, like Amjad said, for any DOT officials, municipalities, consultants, if you've never been to a reinforced concrete pipe and box plant, I highly encourage you to take the opportunity to go tour one of these plants and see the engineering and quality and testing goes behind it. It, like you said, it's a jaw dropping. I've been seeing it for over 20 years now, and every time I see it again, my jaw still drops.
I'm going to switch gears on you just for a second, because we have the opportunity to put all of our partners into a room. What are some engineering challenges or maybe build challenges that you guys are seeing in Arizona that you might be able to see upcoming in the next 5, 10, 20 years, whatever it may be? What are the challenges that you see facing the state from a build perspective?
The biggest problem is the amount of people moving in to specifically Maricopa County, our biggest county in Arizona, where Phoenix is located, Mesa, Gilbert, Tempe, the big cities. The highway capacity is constantly being challenged, and there's always a need to add another lane. And so for us, the biggest challenge is to be ahead of the game, which is really difficult because you can never anticipate how many people can move in or move out and what kind of funding you're going to get. But we try to keep pace at least. And if we have a project coming through, we'd like to get as much done in that area as possible so we don't have to come back again for years, because the public does not forget. So their biggest challenge is funding and producing for the residents of Arizona with what limited budget that we have to keep up with the demand.
Well, that Maricopa County area is such a gem. I was out in the Phoenix Scottsdale area, and every time I go there, it gets better and better. I'll shamelessly plug Arizona right here from Texas. With that, you talked a little bit about funding. Steve and I were discussing it earlier. Arizona was just awarded a pretty big grant from the federal government, a job from the federal government. How do you see that relationship working now that transportation is such an emphasis at the federal level?
It is huge. We Steve showed me that, and I wasn't aware of it because it's at such a high level that the governor was involved in getting this grant. But on our level, we have been trying to get grants from Federal Highway for bridge projects in outside of Maricopa County and Pima County, the two biggest counties in Arizona, to be able to replace aging infrastructure along Interstate I-40, which is of huge importance to the nation because it connects the ports of California with the East Coast. So some of these bridges were built in the 60s. They were steel girder bridges, and they have maxed out on their life capacity. And we need to replace them. A project like that on an interstate at a traffic interchange can cost $30 million.
Wow.
Our budget for the year is $60. imagine half the budget going on one project.
Right,
We
right.
can't do it.
Correct.
So we reach out to the government to try to get grants to help at least pay for half. And so these grants are huge. They are a lifesaver for the DOTs.
Good.
Absolutely. Yeah, so again, every time I go to Arizona, the growth of it just blows my mind. I don't even live there. Adrianna, so you've been living in that area. How long now, down the Phoenix area?
About 8 years.
So what, in that 8 years, tell us about the growth you've seen in infrastructure and roads and highways.
Yeah, definitely on the west side of town. I can't believe how much has gone up, but there's always something going on.
Yeah.
So it'll keep you busy in this industry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So where do you see the next 10 years? How big do you see the boom in the Arizona, state of Arizona?
It's going to continue to grow.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So we will just keep going.
Now, if we can only get that summer heat down a little bit, huh?
Yes. Can you please help us with that? Anybody?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, you can't beat that. But again, Arizona's a beautiful state. The hats off to ADOT for all the great work you guys done. Hats off to Adrianna with Rinker for all the great work she's done with ADOT. And again, I bring up the plant tours. Anybody in the Arizona area, engineers, or can reach out to Adrianna Lash to get a plant tour coordinated. Or anywhere in the nation, we have plants, not just Rinker, all of our concrete pipe member companies. We can get that facilitated for you. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for coming on. Hope you enjoy the rest of Pipe School. So until next time, oops, that's the wrong soundtrack. So we're going to end this interview right now, but we're going to have a live stream going on throughout Pipecast, throughout the Rinker podcast. I am jumbling all over the place here.
We'll get there eventually. Throughout Pipe School, we will have the podcast going
There we go.
All the way until 3:30, y'all. So stay tuned. We'll have multiple guests on throughout the day, and Steve and I will banter back and forth. We'll also grab some people out of the crowd and have a little fun with them from time to time. So don't be afraid to stick around.
And we have great guests coming up. We have so the ACPA does a scholarship program. We're going to have one of the scholarship winners here in a little bit, and then we're going to have some speakers from the Texas DOT here a little bit. So join us later. Keep live, keep the feed coming, and then join us, the Texas Concrete Pipe Association's LinkedIn, and then we'll see y'all in a little bit. Thank you very much.